Hi, everybody. Really, it's a privilege for me to be here. I've got some of my team with me as well over to my left. So first things first, my buddy Jada, raise your hand. She's got some very high value coupons for our products. So if you're a pet lover, a pet parent, or you know somebody who is, please hit up Jada before you leave today. I mean, these are like $40 coupons for $50 coupons for, so you can get yourself a very big bag of Pro Plan with that. So hit her, one's already gone. So please, we'll wait till we're done talking though, okay? So second year in the top 10, and actually we're number 11 3 years ago, and this is a very big deal for us, a key part of our employment brand, and I'm a big fan of Glassdoor, and I just want you to know I think they're a tremendous organization and provide that sort of transparency that we've heard about today in a way that's very professional, and they're easy to work with. Now, I don't do a lot of public speaking. A couple of times a year I'll do something like this, but I do know the times I've done it when people are a little drunk, it goes a lot better. And so I'd like to lodge that idea with my friends from Glassdoor. I was invited yesterday to go visit them late in the day at their office, and I learned that they actually have a bourbon bar, and they also have, and my friend Mel almost broke into tears when he saw it. He's a big bourbon guy. And they also have 4 different beers on tap in the lunchroom. So I can't say I've not come out here and learned something already. So don't know if I can implement that. Sure would like to. Okay, let's go. We got a clicker and we got a computer. We'll do it. Did I go backwards? Here we are. Okay, we're good. Okay, who we are. So just to kind of jump in, just to give you a little bit about who Nestle Purina is, okay, we're a wholly owned subsidiary of Nestle. They're the biggest food company in the world. We're headquartered out of St. Louis, Missouri, the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. So yes, I am gonna dabble in this baseball thing a little bit, and I'm just gonna ask you all to Google number of World Series appearances and maybe postseason appearances for these 3 teams we've bandied about today. Enough of that. Okay, some of the brands you know us by: Dog Chow, Cat Chow, Pro Plan, Beg & Strips, Tidy Cats, Fancy Feast, Friskies, a number of others. We are the preeminent pet food company in the United States and have been for quite a long time. We're about $8.5 billion in revenue. If we count Latin America, which is also headquartered out of St. Louis, that's about 11.5. About 22 factories in the United States, 30 all told in North and South America, 7,000 employees here, 10,000 if we count South America. Founded by a guy named William Danforth about 125 years ago, and he was sort of an early inspirational speaker and self-help guru and a very successful businessman. His family is still preeminent in St. Louis, and we try to keep in touch with some of his ancestors. 75% of us are pet owners at Purina, so that index is about maybe 15-20% higher than the general population. You don't have to own a pet to work for us, but we tend to attract people who love them, myself included. Okay, next one. Maybe 3 core messages about us. Okay, again, we're pet lovers. We have passion for pets, and it is sort of instilled in everything we do. Visually, the way we live at work, the way that we give, the way that we think every single day. It's part of our culture and it's part of who we are. Safety and the safety of our products and our employees is also a huge issue with us, and what we're currently calling progress or innovation. An example of that might be last year we came out with a product called Bright Minds. It's under the Pro Plan line of products. If you want that, you have to go to a pet specialty store like PetSmart or Petco. And Bright Minds contains some ingredients that they're botanical oils and a few blends of vitamins, but specifically meant to help older dogs improve their cognition. So I've got an 11-year-old Siberian Husky. Her name's Sweetie. She's going to be 12 in April. I thought at the time, I've not seen too much decline, but let me try this stuff. And I put her on it, and within about 30 days, she had learned how to open doors, something I had never taught her. And this is fact. And for those of you that know about Siberian Huskies, she's become a lot more annoying. I'm getting supervised a lot more than I was, but much more vibrant. So check out that product if you've got an older dog. It is absolutely incredible. You may have seen some of the ads we run on that product. It's one of my favorite commercials we've ever run. It's got a real owner talking about the change in his dog, and he actually starts to cry in the middle of it. So that's the kind of progress and innovation that we're extremely proud of, that we all sort of live and appreciate every single day. And with that, I'll run a little video that I brought with us to tell you a little bit more about us. You have no sound, huh? Oh, here it comes.
We dare to think bigger, to act bigger, and to be bigger. And what we're doing at Nestle Purina is bigger than pet food and pet care products. We don't mind being held to a higher standard, because that's what it means to stand taller. It's about setting the tone in the industry and affecting the culture as we set out to enrich the lives of pets and the people who love them. Our founder, William H. Danforth, created the TALLs, the values we live by today.
We stand taller with integrity. It's about doing the right things right, even when nobody's looking.
We stand taller with passion. We believe pets and people are better together, and we believe it with all of our hearts.
We stand taller with expertise. We're not just pushing out products, we're pushing pet nutrition forward.
We stand taller with performance. We're #1 with our customers, and we work together to keep it that way.
We stand taller with innovation. We pursue it with purpose, creating products we can put our name on.
We dare ourselves and each other to make every day better. Wherever you work, whatever your role, you are with us on this journey, because it's not where you stand, it's what you stand for. We stand for delivering quality products that make good lives better. We stand for holding each other up and challenging each other to go further. We stand for integrity, passion, expertise, performance, and innovation. We stand proudly, daring each other to take the adventure every morning. It's a shared experience that reinforces a truth we learned early on. Life is better when lived with others. Partners, friends, children, parents, pets, and coworkers. We are Nestle Purina, and we stand taller.
At Nestle Purina,
We stand taller.
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 At Nestle Purina, we stand taller.
Okay, and I should mention we are hiring. We'd love to have you guys check us out. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere. Just find us. If there's any interest, tell your friends about us. We'd love to hear from you. NestlePurinaCareers.com. Okay, that's for Jada, who runs our employment brand, I promised. So what's our secret? To me, if I had to pick one word, it's happiness. So I'm a 25-year guy with Nestle, the last 12 at Purina, and I would tell you I'm never going to leave. And I tell our associates that go through new associate orientation, I can honestly tell you I have never dreaded driving into the office on one single day. Now, I'm the head of HR, so obviously there's some stuff I got to do on occasion that's unpleasant. There are things that are part of everybody's job that you've got to do, and it's not your favorite thing. But I can honestly say to you, there has not been one day where I've had that sense of overwhelming dread that you get on certain jobs when you're headed in, because it's a happy place. One of my colleagues in another part of Nestle calls it Disneyland, sort of, giving me a hard time at times, but it's a tradition, and I would tell you, some of the gentlemen who already spoke today admirably started their own businesses and companies, and those are great stories. I feel more like a steward of our culture. It's old, and I've often told others that my job's not to screw it up. Some people started this thing a very long time ago, and there's only been 7 CEOs in the 125 years. You think about that. Those behaviors and norms and positive behaviors have been carried down through those 7 people. Most of them who've had a couple of decades with the organization. So there's some really specific, positive things about the organization that I tend to view Glassdoor as a tool to check on, almost like a daily pulse survey. And we're doing some interesting things with the data from Glassdoor. For a very long time now, we've been creating a monthly report that goes around to the top executives in the company. And I think what we're about to do is start a more frequent, maybe almost instantaneous, when a review gets logged, we might send it to the department head almost immediately. We have a little bit of fun with it because, like everybody else, we get a clinker at times, and we have a lot of fun and have some humor around that. And it'll get talked about at our sort of leadership meetings, but we take them very seriously, and we're one of those companies that responds to almost everything. And I love it because I know immediately. I like it better than a traditional once-a-year climate survey that we're all familiar with, and sometimes you have to use a third party to do that, and it takes them a month or 2 to crunch the numbers, and by the time you get the numbers, it's 2 months old, and you're reacting to stuff that's not timely. With Glassdoor, it is right there every single day. If I were you guys, I would think about that in terms of a business model, like what else can we do with this to take out some of the traditional competitors in the survey business. Okay. Just a few thoughts about our culture, and I'll go through these quickly and get to the questions. We believe walking the talk in terms of our mission is extremely important. So when you see us and when you come see us, even at some of our factory and sales locations, you're going to see pets. You're going to see visuals demonstrating who the real stakeholder is here that we're after, and that's pets. Walk into our building, they're everywhere, both physically and represented in pictures. And we have specific benefits we've tried to tie to owning pets. We have a pet adoption allowance. If you adopt a pet from anywhere, we're going to give you some help with it to get started. And we also have human adoption assistance too, in case that's a question. We have a tremendous, wonderful tradition called the Monday morning message. So that founder guy, William Danforth, 125 years ago, when you came to work, we have pictures of this stuff that are still in existence. You would find on your desk every Monday morning a paper note from the CEO called a Monday morning message. And it was any number of different things he would write about that were inspirational. And these trace all the way from the early 1900s up towards the end of World War II when he was still the CEO. And it's just fascinating. It's like a walk through history, and some of the messages he's talking about the war, and some he's just quoting some other inspirational character. Well, we wanted to bring these back. The company had drifted away from it, and I went to my boss and said, "What do you think?" And he said, "This is just awesome. Would love to do it, but I can't write all those things, so we got to do it a different way." So we crowdsource them now with our company. So anyone can write a Monday morning message, and what we're trying to pull in is share with us one of your missions in life and reflect on one of the quotes from the founder and just help inspire and motivate the rest of the company. This one just came out this past Monday and it blew me away. That's Nettie, and I didn't even know this, and Jada and I have been talking about it all week. Nettie is one of the 30 under 30 for Forbes magazine in India, and she's got a tremendous interest in helping poor children who are deaf. And what her article speaks about there in her Monday morning message is that the incidence in deafness in the poor is extremely high compared to the rest of the population. And a lot of that's due to diseases and malnourishment that happens to young people when they're poor. And so she's set up a number of initiatives to try and address that issue back in India and other places. And totally out of the blue, unexpected, this came out on Monday. And if you went through and scrolled down through these Monday morning messages as they've come out over the years, you'd laugh, you'd cry, they're thoughtful, they're interesting. Sometimes they're reflecting on things that the company's dealing with, but something we're extremely proud of in terms of giving our employees a voice, and we encourage it. And there it is. So leading into that, another couple of examples I could give you is we try to encourage our employees to participate a lot in the community. And even if they have ideas that they'd like some help with from us, we'll try to help them pursue it to the best of our ability. A couple of them, a gentleman who works for us just partnered with a dog-friendly restaurant nearby where we work to create a special menu for dogs to help them attract more customers who like having their animals with them. Another one, there's a gentleman who's creating a small sort of startup charity that invites the poor in to make their own dog food with donated ingredients, and also to sell it to other people to try to raise money to help themselves as well. So there's always these little things bubbling up, and we try to encourage it as an organization. This is a picture of an event that we call Pet Care Pride Day. It happens in June every year. It's a outgrowth of something that used to be called Checker Day 20, 30, 40 years ago, and Checker Day was more of a big beer blast. I'd actually like to bring that back, but I'm told by our lawyers it would be a little bit complicated. We've turned it into a Help the Community Day, and anyone who wants to can go out and do a number of different activities all over the city. We rehab pet shelters, we help any kind of charity that asks us for help and set everybody loose for one day every year, and there's a lot of other departments that do a number of other things throughout the year as well. Never stop improving. We talked about this. That container on that table you're looking at is what's called Tidy Cats Lightweight. So this is a tremendous innovation. It actually disrupted the cat litter industry, if you can believe this. It's true. We cut the weight in half of cat litter. So which was due to consumer research. The biggest insight we had is people hated buying cat litter because it was so heavy. So this stuff is extremely light now. Our competitors absolutely hate us. This is a very traditional business that's been around for a very long time that started growing at 15 or 20% a year. If you have a conversation with any other person in the food industry right now and talk about that kind of growth, their jaw will drop. So we're extremely proud of that and trying to work on what will be the next iteration of that kind of litter. And if you haven't tried it yet and you're a cat owner, look for that stuff the next time you're at the store. It's very cool. Be genuine. Jada and I were joking around this morning. This is a good story. So that We Stand Taller stuff. It's quite a story we have to get there, to represent ourselves genuinely, which was talked about earlier today, telling the truth about who you are. So Jada and the recruiting team brought in this agency. They were very annoying. They were from New York. They were interviewing all the executives, and they were trying to find that right phrase that describes the company and is compelling. And they kept coming back with different presentations, and they got more annoying every time they came in. And my boss told me, if you send that guy up to talk to me again, I'm going to kill you. Keep him away from me. So I said to the team, I go, can't we find something ourselves a little bit more genuine? Jada came back very quickly with that We Stand Taller, and everybody said, Eureka, that's it. So I think it's been said a couple of times today that you don't need to get fancy, and that may have been a little bit of a lesson for us, that we had it the whole time, and we didn't really need all that extra help. I wanted to plug a very cool program that our parent company is driving right now. We call it Project Opportunity. This is a partnership with our other Nestle partners in the United States. This particular initiative is all about helping people find opportunities, especially in underserved jobs and areas. So apprenticeships is one area where we're trying to really drive traffic. Those of you who have a manufacturing wing to your organization may know that jobs like machinists, welders, electricians, mechanics, extremely hard to fill. We want to help train people to do that stuff, and those are lucrative careers. You can make some really nice money doing that kind of work. That's just one element of this program. Nestle USA, who is down in Los Angeles to the south, that's our food business. Nestle Waters is in Connecticut, two of our big partners in this initiative, and I hope you hear more about it. The hashtag's up there on the screen, and we're going to try and do more and more behind this to include helping veterans and also those with disabilities. So if you'd like to hear more about that, you can look that stuff up on the internet, but I really wanted to mention it because I think it's a great initiative. And with that, I'll be quiet and be happy to take your questions.
Thanks. Nestle's kind of known as a house of brands. How does that affect your employer brand, and how do you deal with that?
I'm really pleased to tell that story. So Nestle bought Purina in 2001 because of the fact that it was a tremendous organization. So typically their approach is let it be and let it grow and let's let what we bought be what we wanted it to be. So they're very comfortable with us having sort of a sub-employment brand. In fact, the global head of HR was in town in St. Louis probably a month ago and just applauded everything that we're doing behind all this. He actually came and visited Glassdoor, believe it or not, on a tour through the United States to try and help Nestle raise its game in other areas around the world. So we've been very fortunate in that regard, and it's a great question. Yes.
So, as a larger and older company, how do you find that the story of your brand affects the way that you recruit, especially as you do have to go recruiting through high-level executive positions all the way down to line managers? How do you unify your story for that? Do you have different stories for different positions? How do you recruit for such a large and old organization, understanding that you need to preserve the culture that it is?
It's a great question. It's evolving right now, so we've been very fortunate up until about, I'd say, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was mostly entry-level stuff that we were recruiting for. Occasionally, the really tough ones that might be researchers or certain scientists or engineers. It's starting to change, and it's becoming sort of an all-level sort of role. And I would tell you, our win on Glassdoor probably has done more for us than just about any one thing. So to give it to you in terms of metrics, we began building our employment brand in earnest probably 8 years ago. Got the basic website in place and then attached it to Taleo and made sure everything worked together. And the real big steps, the real big evolution happened when we started to get recognition by Glassdoor and a number of other organizations. And to their credit, our recruiting team has taken responsibility for the strategy and the attempt to win different Best Places to Work awards. When we got the first Glassdoor recognition, and that was just number 11 3 years ago, our website visits practically quadrupled overnight. And then when we made number 3 last year, we were number 9 this year. I'm just happy we're still on the list. Bricks and mortar, yo, happy. You look at the rest of those companies in the top 10, they've got sleeping pods and all this other nonsense. We don't have that. So I would tell you that sustains traffic to our website, builds a destination for us. So I have 2 vignettes for you. So we're trying to get better at e-commerce as a company. It's one of our main objectives, and we actually have a strategy to hire externally on that because we want to get better, not just try to learn it internally. A couple of people from Amazon found us. The moment we even talked about it, they were replying to us. As soon as we threw the job up, they were on us. We have a factory in upstate New York, really hard to source for. It's in the middle of nowhere. We're trying to find an HR manager for it. This wonderful gentleman from Washington, D.C. was moving back to the area, and he found us through Glassdoor. And I love hearing these stories. It's the ultimate expression of an employment brand. If you can get your message out there and win a couple of contests and get the notoriety like this, it's far better than trying to beg and borrow and steal and post and pray and all that stuff that we used to do. I'd say we've sort of flipped the model on its head. And without that sort of effort, it would be a very disruptive, difficult situation for us right now. But I find, Mel, we've got them coming in, right?
I think another aspect we have is the emergence of a new recruiting job sourcer. Many of you probably have heard of sourcer, but today with 75% of the population being passive candidates, we have to go find them. And I think we have to understand the needs of what they're looking for. Well, an awful lot of people are looking for a great company to work for, and all we have to do is direct them to a Glassdoor, and right off the bat, they start comparing companies. So it's a very good selling proposition for us as we make connections to people that may not necessarily be looking for a job at the moment.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks everybody. Really enjoyed it. Have a good day.